Hello everyone, I'm Henry, and my topic is behavioral responses of migrating humpback whales to swimming whale activities in the Ningaloo Marine Park, Western Australia. First, what is swimming whale? Swimming whale is a worldwide growing tourism involves swimming with whales. And how it is done is there was a vessel carrying people that drive close to whales in several ways. Then swimmers can swimming with the whales in waters. Why do we want to start this research? Well, boat-based whale watching may cause behavioral effects on whales, and we wonder what may swim with whale cause to the whales. So the research here are focused on the humpback whale's behavior at Ningaloo Marine Park, trying to find out the answer. The study species is humpback whales. Humpback whales is a worldwide common whale species, and they migrate to Ningaloo Marine Park during July to October, and sometimes they will carry their calves with them. The study site is Western Australia, Ningaloo Park, which is the blue area in this figure, and the study time is 2016 from August 1st to October 12th, which matches the time they stay in Ningaloo Park. There are several things what we are trying to find out. First, does swimming whale affect the whale's behavior? Second, which whale approaching method affect the whales more? Third, does swimming with groups with calves affect their behavior? We divided the swimming whale activities into three scenarios: before, during, and after. Well, before means before the swimming whale activities, and at that time, usually whales are either traveling or resting, so we divided it into before traveling and before resting. Well, during starts from the vessel approaching the whales until the swim with whale activities, and by the various vessel approaching method, we divided into impasse approach and line abreast and side approach. Well, after just means after the swim with whale activities. And I'm going to introduce the vessel approach types. The first one is impasse. Impasse means a vessel drive ahead of whales pass before turning in front of approaching whales, and is usually used to approach traveling whales, and is known for a more impactful type of approaching. The second is line abreast. That means swimmers are placed ahead of whales pass, then swimmers can swim with the whales, and is usually used to approach resting whales and give the whales the choice to interact. The third one is side approach. That means swimmers are placed to one side of the whales, then swimmers can swim with the whales. And it's also used to approach resting whales and give whales the choice to interact. And since line abreast and side approach are pretty similar, so they are merged into one type, side and line abreast approach. And like I mentioned before, impasse approach are used to before traveling whales, so they two are compared together. And side and line abreast approach are used to before resting whales, so they two are also compared together. We also look into the existence of calves, which is with calves and without calves, and to see if there are any difference between them. And the definition of calves means a whale being a side of another larger one, or a whale estimated smaller than 70% of an adult whale size. These are the equipment we use. We use camera to take photos and digital compass to measure the bearing of whales, which is their direction. And we have a GoPro to record their activities timing, and we take photos for us to analyze their behavior afterwards. And these are the data we collected. First, we have deviation index that represent the predictability of whales movement. It would range from 0 degree to 180 degree. If it's 0 degree, means the whales moving in linear in a line. If it's 180 degree, means whales moving in erratic ways, which is unpredictable ways. Then we have directness index that represent how straight their track is. They range from 0 to 1. If it's 0, means whales moving in a circle. If it's 1, means whale moving in linear. Then here we have heading. Heading shows the swim direction of a whale relative to the vessel. It will range from 0 degree to 180 degree. If it's 0 degree, means it's moving right toward the vessel. And if it's 180 degree, means the whale's moving away from the vessel. Then we have swim speed. It shows how fast the whale swims. And dive duration is how long the whales can dive underwater. And here's how the results are shown. We compare each scenarios, which is before, during, and after, to the collecting data, the things I just mentioned: deviation index, directness index, heading, swim speed, and dive duration. Then we compare the existence of caps, which is with or without caps, to these collecting data. Then we use our software to calculate if there's any significant difference in statistic. So if there's any significant difference, that means the data are related, and which further means one data set affects another one. So here's how the results are shown. It's a bar chart. I'm taking deviation index as an example. The x-axis means the scenario, which is before traveling, before resting, in-pass approach, sight and line abreast, and after. While the y-axis is deviation index. The higher means whales moving in unpredictable ways, the lower means whales moving linear. So how to read this chart? We may notice that there are several alphabet above the bars. So if there are bars with the same alphabet above them, that means they are significantly relative. And so with both alphabet B above, we can say in-pass approach is related with before traveling whales deviation index. And the second example is dive duration. Basically is the same concept of the chart. And the x-axis is scenarios before, during, and after. The y-axis is dive duration, which the higher means the whale can dive longer underwater. The lower means the whales can dive lower time underwater. One thing is difference between the previous one is there's a white bar next to a black one. That means the white one means the calves. So the reason why the white bar, which is the calf, only exists in this graph is because the existence of calves are significantly relative in dive duration. So we can say with or without calf is related for dive duration. And with both alphabet A above, we can say in-pass approach is related with before traveling whales dive duration. And I make a conclusion chart here to show the comparison of scenario and calf to data. And here are the scenarios and calves. Well, here are the data. So if the scenario are relative to the data, we give it an arrow pointing up or down. If the arrow is pointing up, means it's making the data to get higher. If the arrow is pointing down, means we are making the data lower. So for example here, if we have an arrow pointing up, that means the in-pass approach causes the before traveling whales deviation index to get higher. And if we get an arrow pointing down here, that means the in-pass approach causes the before traveling whales dive duration to get lower. And by observing the figure, we can say that in-pass approach only did not affect the directness index of traveling whales. So in-pass approach affect the traveling whale's behavior. And sight and line abreast did not affect the resting whale's behavior in any of the data. So we can say sight and line abreast did not affect the resting whales. With or without calves only affect the dive duration of whales. So we can say with or without calves does not affect the whale's behavior. And back to our original question, does swimming well affect the whale's behavior? Well, like the results, in-pass approach results in a change of deviation index, heading, swim speed, and dive duration of whales. So I think the answer is yes, swimming with whale do affect their behavior. Which whale approaching method affect whales more? Well, I think it's pretty obviously. Of all the three methods, in-pass approach affect the humpback whales most. And well, the reason is maybe because the vessel have to speed up to move ahead of the traveling whales, and the speeding vessel also increase underwater noise. So the faster vessel and larger underwater noise may both affect the whales. Does swimming with group with calves affect their behavior? Well, the data shows no. Existence of calves only significantly affect the whale's behavior in dive duration. But however, like we know, calves are usually sensitive to disturbance, especially for the whales in Ningaloo Park, because they have to grow up fast so they can migrate with their parents. So theoretically, groups with calves should be affected more. And here's our suggestion. And we conclude that in-pass approach and swim with whale calves may disturb the whales. So we suggest that regulations of in-pass approaching type and swimming with whale calves should be revised. We should look into the law to see if in-pass approach and swimming with whale calves are so necessary in the whole swim with whale activities. And hopefully this can help reduce the disturbance to the whales. And thank you.